It's the start of a very busy week. Welcome to your most authoritative show on TV. It's The Pulse. We're coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlemle on your digital terrestrial TV because we're free to air on DSTV channel 421, Go TV channel 144. We are your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. This afternoon, Ashanti Regional Police launched investigations into the stabbing to death of a final year student of the Upon Memorial Senior High School at Kokofo. We are live at the campus with updates on the 19-year-old who allegedly sneaked out of the boarding house to town in a group of other students. Also this afternoon, Guinea President Alpha Conde remains in detention as a group of soldiers who ousted him from power on Sunday orders the country's cabinet to attend a mandatory meeting on Monday. We have details of a statement that suggests those who refuse to attend that meeting will be considered rebels. Plus, lawyers for petitioners in the case challenging the citizenship of Assin North MP James Chachikweson say they are unfussed by the refusal of Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin to declare the seat vacant. We'll hear from a member of the legal team of the petition and also tell you why Speaker Alban Bagbin has declined to declare the seat vacant. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. The Pulse is brought to you by Global Communities, Dignilu Affordable Safe Sanitation. Remember, we're also streaming live on YouTube and all our social media handles. Tweet at us with the hashtag The Pulse. My personal handle is Avenana Aisha. Please be my guest.
Hello, my name is Evans Mensah, and you can relive all the fun and excitement on Top Story, Newsnight, and of course, Ghana Connect via podcast. All you need to do is to log on to my Joy Online/podcast. Search for your favorite show and relive the moment. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Joy 99.7.
Ashanti Regional Police have launched investigations into the stabbing to death of a final year student of Upon Memorial Senior High School at Kokofo. 90-year-old Richard Appiah allegedly sneaked out of the boarding house to town in a group of other students. He was stabbed in the lower abdomen by yet to be identified persons following a confrontation with some town folks over an iPhone. He was pronounced dead upon arrival at the Ahmadiyya Muslim Hospital at Kokofo. My colleague Ohemen Teria, who is with the security desk, has been monitoring events there for us. Ohemen, what have you gathered so far with regards to the stabbing of the student?
Hello, Aisha.
Right, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, I can hear you, Aisha.
Go ahead and tell me what you've gathered so far with regards to this incident.
Yes, Aisha, the incident, according to police, happened on Saturday at about 9:45 p.m. And when the deceased, Richard Appiah, General Art, Visual Arts, final year student of the Upon Memorial Senior High School, in the company of 4 other students, sneaked out of campus to visit the community, the Kokofo Township. And in the process, according to the Bekwai District Police Commander, this DSP Teddy Damte Brown, a confrontation ensued between the students and some of the youth in the community. It followed a disagreement over an iPhone. One of the students apparently had his iPhone seized by one of the youth in the community. So it was the deceased, Richard Appiah, who volunteered to collect the phone from the gentleman. But unknown to him, the gentleman also...
Ohemen Teria, if you can reposition yourself, I think we are losing you there. All right, so Ohemen Teria will reposition himself, then we can have a conversation about what he has gathered with regards to the stabbing of the 19-year-old gentleman. And he'll also be telling us about what the police has gathered because the police has launched investigations and manhunt for the gang that stabbed this gentleman in the abdomen. And he'll also be telling us about how school authorities have been reacting to this, plus the parents of this student. Ohimenteria, if you're back, what else have you gathered from the police? We know the police has launched a manhunt to get the gang that stabbed this gentleman. Ohimenteria, are you there? Hello, Ohimenteria. All right, so we're still trying to get Ohimenteria to tell us more about the fact that a young man who ran out of school has been stabbed. So the Ashanti Regional Police have launched investigations into that case. The gentleman is a student of the Opon Memorial Senior High School at Kokofu, and we are told that he allegedly sneaked out of the boarding house to town in a group of other students and was stabbed in the lower abdomen by a group of people following a confrontation with some town folks over an iPhone. He was pronounced dead upon arrival, unfortunately, at the Ahmadiyya Muslim Hospital at Kokofu. And we're told that police is searching for the group of people who did that to the gentleman. We've been monitoring events and speaking to school authorities. We've been following up with parents of this young man. Ohimenteria is our man on the ground. But as we try to get him, let's listen to Bekwai District Police Commander DSP Teddy Damte Brown, who says police have launched a manhunt for the gang led by one Solomon after taking statement from 5 students.
Of September at about 11:45 p.m. Police of Kokofu had a call that a young man believed to be a student of upon Memorial SHS has been stabbed. So police went to the scene, and when they got there, it was realized that the body has been taken to Ahmadiyya Muslim Hospital. When police got there, they found the body lying on the floor at the hospital vicinity. When police asked what actually happened, police was told that a student called Richard Apia was the one who was stabbed. And his father is the secretary of the said school. Meanwhile, the guy was then a day student, but because he was in his final year, he was asked to come to the boarding house. So when he came to the boarding house, he had some friends in the school, a mate. They were his mates. And they used to go to town, they used to sneak to town every evening. And they had an encounter with some youth in the town some time back. Meanwhile, that case was not reported to the police. So when they came to town, one of his mates was with an iPhone. So those guys they have been having an encounter with met them in town, and then one of them went to the other guy, and then took his phone from him. So that Richard Apia became angry, and then went straight to the guy, wanted to collect the phone from him. And we are told the name of the guy is called Solomon. That's the only name that we have at the moment. So when he went there, the guy broke a bottle. Solomon broke a bottle, and they stabbed him with a bottle. There he fell unconscious and was right to Ahmadiyya Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. So police went to the hospital, and as I told you, found the body on the floor and the body was taken to Bekwai Hospital morgue for preservation and an autopsy. That is that.
No?
Not
Yeah,
yet.
Solomon.
Solomon has left the town, and the others two have also left the town. But we are doing everything possible to get them arrested. I have informed some informants to assist us to get the culprit arrested.
So how many people is police looking for at the moment?
Now, we can never be specific in the sense that the student told us that there were some boys, but they were not able to give us a figure. But the boys who went out with the student, the one who was killed, there were 5 in number, and we have their names, and they are helping us to get the culprit arrested.
These eyewitnesses, the students who went out with the boy.
We have exactly done that. We are taking their statements. You know, there were borders, and they left for town. I think it wasn't appropriate for them to leave for town at that time. But because the one who died, the father is a security at the school. He just went there. He just went to the town without the notice of the authority. So when the senior master came, what he said was that they were not aware that the boy they were in town.
My colleague Ohementeria, who is on that beat for us, has joined us again. Ohementeria, you were telling me about the latest you've gathered on this incident.
Currently, I am reaching you from the Jumam family house of the late final year student who was stabbed to death by unknown assailants. Police has indicated that everything is being done to apprehend the perpetrators behind this act. But in the family house here, I came to meet a crowd, sympathizers gathered here to sympathize with the parents of the late Richard Appiah, whom we are told the father himself is a security officer of the Upper Memorial Senior High School at nearby Kokofu. Let's find out from Mr. Bono Appiah, the father of the late Richard Appiah. Just tell me, bra, na me no nkomo. Ete say, Obano say na what say what film?
The only thing need now mess na no sajuma na dairo the say dairo na tenda say ka ke ko na nya ka ke stress mo na ba ni jani ni si ka mi si bia ba ga ko ni ni bia mo pe ni ka ko so ka ni so nya bo ni bia ni ko si ya na headmaster ni so ko ni ba ke ni ha me na mo pe ni ko ni ko ke ko ni mo ba ni mo da na ko se kwa mi ho me mo shi na ka sa e ni ma ya ki bi ki ni ko di da mi pesa ni se ma se me se ni bi en ka me na so ba ya ni ko mi ki e mi ya se apa ni sa di mi se ni na mi shi ya no you know so mo kin ya ni se ni ba ro ta en na ni me ba de na e ki be so no mo ki ko ma ya ta pa ma o ka ni ma ko no bo na ta na ni se no ma
So, Aisha, this is Mr. Bono Appiah, the father of the late Richard Appiah, giving us update as to how he received news of the demise of his child. And he says he was home, went through authorities, came home to inform him of the death of his son. And even then, he was asked to get some family members to be with him before they broke the news to him. And Richard Ankasa, why?
the third ball, a second ball, the third ball, no. As I say, you'll be in the final year accident, and this will be.
All right, so that was Oheming Teria having a conversation with the father of the boy who has been stabbed. Police is still on a manhunt for the gang that committed this act. Now, let's go to Bono, where health authorities in the Bono East region are worried about the number of COVID-19 deaths recorded.
Hello, my name is Evans Mensah, and you can relive all the fun and excitement on Top Story, Newsnight, and of course, Ghana Connect via podcast. All you need to do is to log on to my Joy Online/podcast. Search for your favorite show and relive the moment. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Joy 99.7.
So health authorities in the Bono East region are worried about the number of COVID-19 deaths recorded since the outbreak of the pandemic. The region currently has a total of 58 deaths, representing 2.2% of the cumulative number of deaths recorded in the region, a figure above the national average of 0.7%. Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Fred Adomako-Boateng, attributes the increased numbers to the late reporting of cases to health facilities. Anna Sabit has more in the following report.
Bono East region has recorded a total of 58 COVID-19 deaths since the outbreak of the pandemic. This represents a case fatality of over 2.2%, a figure way higher than the national average of 0.7%. Dr. Fred Adomako-Boateng is the Regional Director of Health Services. He says the figures means there is a challenge with the way the cases are handled across the region.
If you look at our case fatality, which is about 2.2, way higher than the national figure, hovering even not 0.7. It means that there is a challenge with the way that we are handling the cases. And I can tell you a number of reasons. One of them is the atypical presentation of the Delta variant. The way it was presenting in people was quite different from the other ones that we knew.
Dr. Adomako-Boateng attributes the increased number of deaths to the late reporting of cases to the health facilities.
By the time you realize that, look, I am having a challenge, you report to the hospital very late. So you see one of the late reporting, that has been the challenge. And so you see, and then most of them are also happening in people with comorbid issues. And what we realize is that they may be having their normal drugs, but you cannot really control. They come to the hospital and you see that is the COVID. So one, because of the atypical presentation, not the usual things that we were looking at, that was one of them, and the time that they report at the facility.
He says as a means of helping rectify the challenge, the Directorate have trained more clinicians on the proper handling of COVID patients in other municipalities to help deal with case management.
We have heightened awareness among all health workers, especially aged people with comorbid issues, and more also people with all atypical presentation, because the COVID is not presenting us with the kind of normal. So you have heightened all the clinicians to be really be on high alert so that they can quickly pick the cases. What we have also done is that, apart from Holy Family Hospital, we've been able to train other clinicians at Kintampo Hospital. And then the idea is, going forward, we'll train other clinicians at Tebubu, Kwame Danso, St. Teresa, so that they can also manage the severe cases, and we don't need to also end the critical, and no, we don't need to refer all of them to one point, which will make the management a challenge.
Reporting for JoyNews, Anas Sabit, Tichiman.
Now, mortuaries for preserving dead bodies in various health facilities in the eastern region are reportedly getting full following a strike by environmental health officers. The nationwide strike action by the Environmental Health Officers Ghana started sometime last month over what they describe as poor working conditions. According to the group, the environmental health practitioners burying the bodies lack the needed resources to carry on with their job. That's until the key actors in the health sector, they are the Ministry of Health and Ghana Health Service, supply them with the needed PPEs, the association will continue with the strike. This strike, which has dragged for close to a month, has got some families frustrated as bodies of their relatives who died from COVID have been abandoned at the morgue. National President of the Environmental Health Officers for Denchambo Yao Akwa Latte joins us now via Zoom for more. Mr. Latte, I'm grateful for your time. How serious is this situation?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right. A very good afternoon to all your viewers and environmental health officers across the country. Yes, it's true. Bodies are being put up at the morgue across the country simply because we lack the necessary logistics to be able to give a safe disposal of the death of COVID-19 in the country.
And what has been the response of the Ministry of Health and Ghana Health Service to this situation?
Yes, I think we laid down our tools on Wednesday, 18th August last month. And till now, no government official or anybody who matter as the stakeholders of this country has engaged us. So we are still there. We are waiting for their response because without the necessary logistics as stated in the Labour Act 2003, Act 651, Section 118, we cannot go with our bare hands to tackle COVID-19 dead bodies in the morgues for a safe disposal the Public Health Act, Section 50, 1 and 2.
Mr. Latte, I want you to paint a picture of the situation right now for us so we can understand what you are battling with.
Yes, what we are saying is so simple. Now we need three things. Since the inception of the COVID-19 in this country, when Honorable Health Minister Kwekwa Jimamenu made a first statement, a written statement of COVID in the country, we environmental health officers also mobilize our forces. Along the line, government procures personal protective equipment and distributed it across the Ministry of Health, Ghana Health Service staff. Notwithstanding, we are also health workers who have been transferred in 1994 to the local government service.
Okay, so you are Akwa Latte, who is the National President of Environmental Health Officers Alliance, Ghana. Okay, go on.
We have been working with our own personal protective equipment since the day one of COVID being recorded in the country. Along the line, we are the front line and back line health workers. For the back line, our duties are to give a safe disposal of all death in this country, whether animal or human beings. And COVID-19 dead bodies fall within our mandate. So we have been bearing without the necessary logistics, such as cover-up, gloves, nose mask, the N95, the goggles, the apron, the scraps, the chemicals that will be used. We are saying that the Ministry of Health, who is in charge of all health situations, all pandemics in this country, should be able to give us all these logistics and necessary PPEs to be able to don and give a safe burial of all the dead bodies across the country. Currently, as we speak, we are not getting it. When we receive the dead bodies from the Ghana Health Service, that's the hospital, the nurses, the doctors, or the mortuary attendants, we have to go to the District Director of Health Services. And what they get, what they have is what they give us. So we go to them, and what we normally get are the cover-up, the one which has a cross, blue cross at the back. They don't have quarantine boots. They don't have goggles. And the coverall, the one with the blue cross at the back, what happened is that after every burial, we disinfect ourselves and discard it. It is bent. So as and when we bury, we discard all those things. And we don't have it. Getting it at the stores, outside the market, you will not get it. You come through town, you will not get it. So we are saying that we are health workers working under the local government service. For that matter, the metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies. So the Minister of Health, during the distribution of these PPEs, should be able to use the decentralization that we have in operating in this country and distribute these PPEs to the regional coordinating councils, to the metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies.
What kind of engagement what kind of engagement have you had at the local level?
Yes, at the local level, when we receive bodies from the hospitals, at the regional levels, they have communicated to us, the 16 regions, that those are the teaching hospitals who take delivery of these bodies. We like the Cape Coast Hospital, the Kolebus, the 37, and those at the regional level take delivery of these PPEs from the teaching hospital or the regional health directorate. But we who are working at the municipal and district assemblies don't take the PPEs from the regional level, but we go to the medical district director of health services, and they tell us that their PPEs were given to them to be given to their staff, not we, the staff at the local government service. So that has been our challenge. So now that we are not getting, now the new variant is so deadly. And last year, officers who were engaged in this burial had infected with some of this COVID, the second wave. And the insurance package the government promised, they did not get. The tax waiver that were also given, promised by government, from April to December 2020, we were neglected and sidelined. Association took it upon ourselves to write a petition upon petitions through the office of the head of local government service. He also accepted, received the letter, put a cover letter on it, and forwarded it to the Minister of Local Government. The Minister of Local Government also received, acted on it, and forwarded it to the Minister of Health. We presented this letter on the 7th July 2020. It took time, July up to May this year, 2021. That's when the first tax waiver was paid. And it has been paid in installments, monthly installments, first batch, second batch, third batch. As I speak now, over 500 environmental health officers. So this has been a challenge for us as professionals who are mandated by the Public Health Act 2012, Act 851, Section 50, C, to dispose all dead bodies, whether animals or human beings, in a safe manner.
So what do you want from government right now?
What we want government and all those who matter in this country is, one, we need the logistics, especially the personal protective equipment as stated in the Labour Act 2003, Act 851, Section 118, which states, paraphrasing, that before the employer employs you, he must give you the necessary personal protective equipment. And it is stated in 118, subsection 2, E, says, I quote, supply and maintain at no cost to the worker adequate safety appliances, suitable firefighting equipment, personal protective equipment, and instruct the workers in the use of the appliances and equipment. We have not been given these equipments. How do we don and take this bull by its horn to bury this deadly COVID-19 dead bodies? And one thing that we should know, that
all right, so Yakwa Latte, he is the national president of the Environmental Health Officers Alliance Ghana, and he's been making that point that they need personal protective gears to help them bury dead bodies from COVID-19. Let's get onto the COVID-19 dashboard and see what our situation is looking like right now. The number of cases are rising, 393 right now. Active cases 6,971. Confirmed cases 121,307. Recoveries are over 113,000, and deaths have crossed the 1,000 mark now with 69 addition, 1,069. You can also see that Greater Accra is leading, is topping the chart, followed by the Ashanti region, and you can see those red lines, red circles inside the Ghana map on your screen. Also, good news, Ghana has taken delivery of 1.2 million doses of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccines under the COVAX facility. The vaccines, which is a donation from the United States government, is to help with the ongoing mass vaccination drive against the virus. Receiving the doses at the Kotoka International Airport, Deputy Health Minister Mahama Saini says government is committed to the target of vaccinating 20 million Ghanaians by the end of the year.
On behalf of the government of Ghana, I wish to express my sincere gratitude to the President and people of the United States of America for today's donation of Moderna vaccines and the continuous assistance Ghana enjoys from the government and people of the U.S. Undeniably, your support for the people of Ghana is appreciated and underscores the reasons why Ghana will continue to partner with you. We recognize the donation of 1,229,620 doses of Moderna vaccines as a best practice of cooperation with the U.S. government, and we do a promise to ensure that all these vaccines are put to their intended use in our fight against COVID-19. We also want to express our gratefulness to the U.S. Ambassador to Ghana, UNICEF, and everyone who in diverse ways has contributed in the receipt of this donation, and continue to work diligently to ensure that the health of all people living in Ghana is protected. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate every support, and we look forward to our continuous relationship. Thank you, and long live our mutual friendship.
The U.S. Ambassador to Ghana, Stephanie Sullivan, says the U.S. will continue to lead the global fight against the pandemic.
Today, the United States is providing more than 1.2 million doses of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine to Ghana through COVAX. 1,229,620 to be exact. Vaccines, along with other proven preventive protocols, will help control the pandemic and slow the development of new variants. The United States government is committed to leading the global response to the COVID-19 pandemic and accelerating global vaccine distribution as the world's largest single donor to COVAX. The United States has already delivered over 125 million doses to more than 80 countries, including 26 million doses in sub-Saharan Africa. Since the beginning of the pandemic, the United States has contributed well over $30 million to Ghana's COVID-19 response, building on decades of partnership in the health sector between the U.S. and Ghanaian governments. Our support aims to address the immediate and medium-term effects of the pandemic on the health, agriculture, and education sectors, as well as to support the hard-hit private sector. In February, we here in Accra welcomed the world's very first vaccine delivery under COVAX. And in May, we also welcomed the new direct flight on United Airlines between Kotoka and Washington Dulles airports. I'm thrilled to see that same flight, United Airlines 996, bring these vaccines to Ghana this morning.
You heard the U.S. Ambassador Stephen Sullivan donating the Moderna vaccines to Ghana. Lawyers for the petitioners in the case challenging the citizen of Assin North MP, citizenship of Assin North MP James Jachekwesin said they are unfussed by the refusal of Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin to declare the seat vacant. A Cape Coast High Court had ordered the conduct of fresh elections in the constituency after it found the MP unfit to hold office on grounds of his citizenship. Even though an appeal and a stay of execution have been filed by the embattled MP, a letter from the court to Parliament had requested that the Speaker declared the seat vacant to allow for a by-election. The Speaker has, however, declined to do so, arguing that it could jeopardize the ongoing legal processes. We'll hear from a member of the legal team of the petitioner, Gary Nimakomafo, who has welcomed the Speaker's decision. But first, though, my colleague Kwekwa Sante joins me via Zoom with details of the Speaker's reply to the court. Kwekwa, what more does the letter say?
So, Aisha, you set a good background to this story. The Speaker of Parliament, writing to the Clerk of Parliament, says that prior to receipt of this process, the Speaker had received a certified true copies of documents from the lawyers of James Quaison, Member of Parliament for the Assin North constituency, filed in respect of an appeal against the judgment of the High Court. That on the face of the certified true copies received by Mr. Speaker, the matter in question is still sub judice and has thus not been concluded by the courts with competent jurisdiction on the matter. That in the circumstances, Mr. Speaker is not clothed with the legal basis to make a pronouncement of the matter and can thus not declare the occurrence of a vacancy in the House pursuant to the 1992 Constitution and the standing orders of the House. We know that the Constitution mandates a by-election to be held in such a constituency after 30 days of such a judgment of the court or when the seat becomes vacant. The Electoral Commission has not been able to do that because the Member of Parliament has still been holding himself out as one, actually going to Parliament and sitting in committee meetings, insisting that because he has filed a stay of execution, some of these processes would have to be on hold for now. And so, Mr. Speaker, writing through the clerk to the General Jurisdictions Registrar, the Law Court Complex here in Accra, and says that the seat as it is currently is not vacant and cannot be declared so.
My colleague Kwekwa Sante, with that, those details, we can now listen to the NPP's lawyer, Gary Nimakomafo, who admits the Speaker's position is correct point of law, but it does not take away from the merit of the case.
What the Speaker of Parliament is saying is does not derogate from legal principles because I'm aware of an appeal having been filed on the matter. I'm also aware of a stay of execution having been filed on the matter and serve on all the affected parties. To the extent that the appeal has not been determined, the stay has not been determined by the court, it will appear to me that any attempt probably to declare that seat vacant will be overreaching the Court of Appeal. So I don't think what he said is wrong. There is no confidence loss. What is happening or what is going on is only legal processes. When they go to High Court and they win, and the other party, who is aggrieved, feels that, well, they want to appeal, they have the right to appeal, and they've rightly done so.
Gary Nimakomafo is a member of the legal team for the petitioners. We'll take a break on the pulse. Remember to join the conversation with a tweet, the pulse, and also joined by all our social media handles. We are back in a jiffy.
Hello, my name is Evans Mensah, and you can relive all the fun and excitement on Top Story, Newsnight, and of course, Ghana Connect via podcast. All you need to do is to log on to my Joy Online/podcast. Search for your favorite show and relive the moment. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Joy 99.7.
Welcome back to The Pulse. Remember to tweet at us at The Pulse and join the conversation also over our social media handles. Now, a group of soldiers who ousted Guinea's President Alpha Condé from power on Sunday have ordered the country's cabinet to attend a mandatory meeting on Monday. Those who refuse to attend the meeting, according to the statement, will be considered rebels. President Condé remains in detention, but his fate is unclear. The UN African Union and regional body ECOWAS have condemned the coup and called for return to civilian rule. More than that, we'll get you more on that shortly, but my colleague Elton Bobby walks us through what has happened so far.
In a video widely circulated on social media, it shows President Condé sitting on a sofa surrounded by troops. The 83-year-old leader refused to answer a question for one soldier about whether he had been maltreated. The nation of 13 million people, one of the world's poorest countries despite boasting significant mineral resources, has long been beset by political instability. Earlier on Sunday, residents of the capital, Conakry, reported hearing heavy gunfire. Some have suggested the unrest may have started after the dismissal of a senior commander in the special forces, provoking some of its highly trained members to rebel. The head of Guinea's military special force, Lieutenant Colonel Mamadi Duboya, later appeared on public television, dropped in the national flag, saying government mismanagement prompted a coup.
La personnalisation de la politique.
The personalization of politics, of political life is over. We will no longer entrust politics to a man. We will entrust it to the people. We come only for that. It is the duty of a soldier to save the country. The only thing that motivates us is that we are going to put in place a system that does not exist, and we must all build this system together.
The protest follows a long period of political tension in Guinea, first spurred by Condé's highly contested bid for a third presidential term last year. News of the coup sparked celebrations in some parts of the capital, where hundreds of people applauded the soldiers. The most recent presidential polls in Guinea in October 2020 was marred by violence and accusation of electoral fraud. Condé won a controversial third term, but only after pushing through a new constitution in March 2020, allowing him to sidestep the country's two-term limit. Dozens of people were killed during demonstrations against a third term for Condé, often in clashes with security forces. Hundreds more were arrested. Condé was proclaimed president on November 7 last year, despite his main challenger, Celo Diallo, and other opposition figures denouncing the election as a sham. The government cracked down, arresting several prominent opposition members for their alleged role in abetting electoral violence in the country. Condé, a former opposition leader himself, who was at one point imprisoned and sentenced to death, became Guinea's first democratically elected leader in 2020, winning re-election in 2015. He survived an assassination attempt in 2021. In recent years, however, he has been accused of drafting into authoritarianism.
So the man in charge of affairs in Guinea now is Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya. But who is he?
It says the borders are closed and the constitution dissolved. Condé has been deposed.
La personnalisation de la politique.
The personalization of politics, of political life is over. We will no longer entrust politics to a man. We will entrust it to the people. We come only for that. It is the duty of a soldier to save the country. The only thing that motivates us is that we are going to put in place a system that does not exist, and we must all build this system together.
Let's look at what has led to all of this. There's a background to this, actually, and just shortly, I'll be sharing some background information with you. The 2010 election of Condé, Guinea's most prominent champion of multi-party democracy, was greeted with optimism by human rights activists and international organizations. Until then, Condé has been the chief critic of a succession of autocratic leaders. Ahmed Sékou Touré, who ruled from independence in 1958 until the death in 1984, Lansana Conté, who seized power in a coup after Touré's death, and Moussa Dadis Camara, who led a coup after Conté's death in 2008. Now, ethnic riots between Malinke and Pearl in 2012, disaffected young people attacked an iron ore oil project run by Val, causing millions of dollars to go damaged. Opposition protests and labor strikes. His security forces cracked down, drawing criticism from the United Nations and rights groups. In 2013 to 2016, there was an Ebola outbreak. Now, the outbreak killed more than 2,500 people in Guinea and dealt a multi-billion-dollar hit to the economy. And the third-term threat, Condé won re-election in 2015, but more turmoil followed as his opponents accused him of angling for a third term and started organizing large street demonstrations. And finally, we are here. But the U.S. State Department denounced the coup d'etat and warned it could limit Washington's ability to support Guinea. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres condemned the takeover in a tweet and called for Condé's immediate release. The chairman of the African Union, DR Congo President Felix Tshisekedi, and the head of its executive body, former Chadian Prime Minister Moussa Faki Mahamat, also decried the move, calling for Condé to be freed. Now, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, through its acting president, Ghana's leader, Nana Akufo-Addo, threatened sanctions if Guinea's constitutional order was not restored. All right, let's get more on this and speak with the Director of Faculty, all right, Dr. Festus Kofi Obing. He's Head of Research and Capacity Building at the West African Network for Peace Building, WANEP. I'm grateful that you joined us this afternoon.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to your viewers.
Mr. Obing, I guess the developments in Guinea doesn't come as a surprise to you.
Well, I mean, if you look at the background that you provided before talking to me, you will see that the early warning signs have been there. I mean, since last year, when President Alpha Condé, through constitutional changes, stood for a third term against the wishes of majority of people in Guinea, and the violence that ensued following that, and also after the elections that were held in the country. You could see that, I mean, Guinea was sitting on a time bomb, and I'm not surprised that the military has taken over power in that country.
But, I mean, you hear people jubilating on the streets of Guinea because of what has happened, but really, what does this mean, especially for economic stability in that country?
I think that, first of all, we need to understand that when there are coups, if you look at the region, anytime there are coups, there are sometimes jubilation on the streets. That does not mean that the coup makers are good or they foresee a re-establishment of good governance or rule of law. It simply means that people were not too comfortable with the past government, and that government may perhaps be bad. And so it doesn't mean that they prefer the coup makers, but perhaps maybe because they feel being liberated from, if you, for want of a better word, repressive regime, as some will call. But you know, from 2010 up to now, Guinea has made tremendous improvement in various sectors of the economy, despite the fact that there are challenges. And so what this coup presents is that it takes the country further back, because now you have to reinstall constitutional order, and that takes a lot of time. So all the gains that have been made over the years, I mean, is going to be stalled, or is going to, I mean, decline, I mean, in the months and the years ahead, until we have a full constitutional order in that country.
Clearly, I mean, they're going to have issues with the economy, but also those of us in West Africa, how worried should we be in view of what is happening in Guinea?
Well, I think for two reasons. One, the first point is that what has happened in Guinea, goes on to reinforce the perception that West Africa is the most volatile region within the continent of Africa, and looking at the tremendous gains we've made over the years through democratic consolidation, you will see that majority of countries within the region, most of the political elites or leaders come to power through the ballot box and not through the barrel of the gun. So this goes to remind us of some of the past issues that happened with governance within the region, which does not augur well for the democratic consolidation process that ECOWAS has instituted since it revised treaty in the early 1990s. And then the second point is that if you look at the issues that influenced the coup, you will see that those issues are common within the region. They talk about issues of corruption. They talk about issues of bad governance, the deteriorating economy, and all those youth unemployment and all those issues. They are issues that are widespread within the region. And so it also serves as a wake-up call for all of us in the region to up our game to prevent some of these illegal confiscation of power by the military.
Dr. Obin, this didn't start in a day. We all picked up signals because in the lead up to this big event, there were a lot of issues that were happening in that country. Could ECOWAS and other regional bodies have acted better than they have in this situation?
Well, I think following the incidents that happened prior to the elections last year, ECOWAS, AU, and the UN, they were all on ground and are taking different forms of preventive diplomacy, engaging all the actors in Guinea. I'm not too sure whether following the elections and the violence that ensued, whether ECOWAS continued those diplomatic engagement to make sure that things were in order. And so what has happened, also does not speak well of the ECOWAS preventive diplomacy engagement with some of these countries like Guinea, looking at what has happened before the recent coup. So it also, tells us about the fact that ECOWAS needs to look at some of the tools and the measures it has in place in terms of dealing with some of these early warning signs in these countries to ensure that we prevent some of these forceful takeovers of power before they even happen within the region. So it also raises questions about the early warning systems and early warning response, especially with regards to response, how well we responded to some of the issues that were coming from Guinea up to this point where we had the coup happening in the country.
So right now the deed has been done, and we've seen a lot of statements flying all over the place. The US is issuing a statement asking that Alpha Condé be released. We've heard from ECOWAS and other bodies condemning what has happened. Beyond the statements, what should we see from these regional bodies immediately?
Well, I think ECOWAS, for example, has a protocol. And within that protocol on democracy and good governance, there are measures and procedures it initiates whenever there are unconstitutional changes of government like military coup. So I think that one of the first measures they normally do is to condemn and call for a restoration of constitutional order. Following that, if situations does not improve, then they could move on to suspension, and then also look at other diplomatic engagement where sometimes it results in transitional government within the country over a period of time where they can now have elections and return back to constitutional rule. But I think for the meantime, the most important thing that ECOWAS and the other bodies have to do is, first of all, to get the president's release from the coup makers and then engage in other diplomatic efforts with the coup makers and other key stakeholders in the country to see the way forward in terms of returning the country back to constitutional order.
I'm grateful for your time. This is a conversation we'll continue to have until we have peace restored and stability in that country, Guinea. Dr. Festus Obing is head of research and capacity at the West Africa Network for Peace Building. We can now listen to Director of Faculty of Academic Affairs and Research at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, Professor Kwesi Enin, who says the region must position itself against more of such coups.
It's a very unfortunate development. It's unnecessary, but it hardly comes as a surprise at all. It was expected, and I think there have been multiple failures that contributed to the occurrence that we saw yesterday.
And when you say multiple failures, what exactly do you mean by that?
Well, I think it's because Guinea, as a signatory to ECOWAS and African Union documents with respect to democracy, rule of law, respect for human rights, and elections, consistently failed to fulfill or comply with the documents that they had signed on to and the values and the norms that they had signed on to. The final straw that broke the camel's back, or for the sake of Guinea, probably the back of the goat, is that the Alpha Conde, in changing the constitution and allowing him to run for a third term, undermined all these processes, disrespected ECOWAS, the African Union, and his own national constitution. Now, the question that we need to ask relates to the responses of his peers within ECOWAS and the African Union in advising him to pull back from the brink. We know that internally in Guinea, there were demonstrations, there were riots, people were killed and shot. But on the international scene, the level of criticism or advice given to Conde and his henchmen and women was very low. And those are the failures that I'm talking about. The same international community that is now reading the Riot Act woefully failed to contribute to preventing what has taken place.
So in your view, the likes of ECOWAS, AU and the likes should also be blamed for this?
I don't think the word is blame. I think for me, it's about how do we strengthen the instruments to either encourage or coerce those who have signed on to these documents to comply. You see, so if we strengthen ECOWAS and the way that it deals with member states so they can comply, because you see, failure in Mali, now in Guinea, will possibly cascade to other countries. And my assessment is that because of Chad, Mali, now Guinea, there may be 2 or 3 other countries that may face a similar challenge.
You heard the Professor Kwesi Enin. He's a security analyst and also with the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Center. Now, Ghana's education reform has come with it many teething administrative and logistical problems. The Minister of Education, Dr. Yao Osei-Duchim, speaking at the inauguration of the Ministerial Advisory Board, has called for the country's educational system to be reformed. According to him, the reform should lay emphasis on the role of science, technology, engineering, and maths lead the way in transforming education in Ghana.
The first term of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's presidency saw some great innovations and approaches at the Ministry of Education, whether you're talking about NTC operationalization, NASIA operationalization, vehicles for schools, district directors and regional directors. Some foundation was laid. But we need to build on that foundation so that we can truly say we have transformed the education system of this country. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics is a must in this 21st century. We are in the fourth industrial revolution, and we cannot say that the best we have in the education system are students who can memorize. Memorize, say, for WAEC so that they will judge the best. No. Our education system should be turning out people who are critical thinkers. And it means we have to do a lot of work. We can no longer rely on the junior high schools of yesteryears. Junior high school system, which has disadvantaged, unfortunately, the poor. Because in 1987, with all the best intentions of ensuring that we have people with vocational skills and can do things and not just come out of school and unemployed, what did not go well for our system was the fact that the poor no longer had a middle school as a buffer so that they can mature. And when they get to high school, with the risk case from stage 6, even though the first year they may not be able to communicate very well in English, after 3 years they can. And in fact, they can outcompete the risk case from the international schools. That middle school buffer is gone. We did not get additional resources for those who are coming from that disadvantaged background. So consequently, in spite of the best intentions of the 1987 education reform, rural people have been disadvantaged for the most part.
It includes the implementation of the gifted and talented education as a step towards equipping Ghanaians with the tools to compete on the global market.
And school operationalization and gifted and talented education is coming to Ghana. It was mentioned as part of our inclusive education policy, but was never operationalized. Africa cannot afford a school system without gifted and talented education. When you are limited on resources, why don't you take the best and the brightest and give them everything they need so that they can change your country for it to benefit everyone? And they are distributed across the length and breadth of this country. Research shows that you're going to get about 10% of the people being gifted or talented. And when you can put them together and nurture their talents, you change your country. And Ghana has to be changed by also doing the gifted and talented education. We have a rare opportunity to implement this through the schools that we have established, whether it's global studies, where students are able to learn about finance, about law, about accounting in high school and do the economics and government. These are new spaces that will make Ghana competitive in the global economy. We can't talk about the fact that we have the continental free trade located in Ghana, but high school students don't know anything about finance. And they don't know anything about the stock market and the fact that this rare opportunity is here for us. We need the brightest minds to take advantage of the free trade. And we cannot have it here, but high schools are not doing anything about it. We can't have a high school system where we are not scaling it in such a way that somebody can leave high school and work.
Let's go back to COVID-19 because governments around the world have been working hard to find vaccines to inoculate and protect their citizens against SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19. Many are eager to get the jabs to escape the lethal hands of the virus. So far, more than 1,050 have been killed in Ghana alone, with many fighting for their lives in hospitals. What many don't consider beyond the vaccinations is how the waste is disposed of. That can actually be a source of viral and bacterial infections. Well, Public Health Department of the Ministry of Health, School of Hygiene, Zoom Lion Medical Waste Team, and the School of Public Health, Kolebu, have been working to safely dispose of the medical waste from the ongoing vaccination exercise in parts of the country. That work has started in the Ashanti, Bono, and Bono East regions, where infections are also on the increase. Let's speak to Head of Medical Waste Department at Zoom Park, Ghana, Engineer Assin Tenge. He joins us via Zoom. I'm grateful for your time.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity too. Thank you.
First, share with us the importance of this waste disposal exercise.
All right, thank you very much. A good afternoon to your cherished viewers too. Yes, in fact, medical waste management is very essential in the waste management terrain. In that, looking at the current vaccinations that is currently ongoing, waste will be generated. And this waste is regarded as a potentially infectious waste. That is, if it is not well taken care of, it will cause infection to people. You can realize that the syringes or the needles that are used in giving the jabs, it comes into contact with the body fluid of the person being injected, that is the blood. So this implies that, for example, if the person is an HIV patient, the needle now becomes a potential source of HIV. So if this needle is not properly treated and disposed, it could be of high risk to anyone that is pricked by that needle. So with this current intervention of handling the vaccination waste, it implies that we are going to take all the needles, syringes, any infectious waste that is being generated from the vaccination, we take it through a process of treatment. Now, this process of treatment is what sterilizes the waste, after which it is taken into a machine called a shredder. This shredder grinds the waste in such a way that it becomes tiny, tiny particles. So it does not have the potential of causing any needle prick injury to anyone that comes into contact with it. So in such a way, you realize that the waste is safe for disposal. When you do this, the first thing that you've done is what? You've reduced the risk of spreading of infection to others. The other thing is that you reduce pollution. If I say pollution, the conventional ways of treating medical waste was to use incinerators. Now, these incinerators, research has indicated that it releases pollutants such as furans and dioxins into the atmosphere. These furans and dioxins, they are carcinogenic.
Engineer Tenge is with he's with one of the Zoom Park, Ghana. They are working on waste disposal of the stuff that come out from COVID-19. Engineer Tenge, if you're back, tell me more about what you've been working on since you started.
Okay, so thank you very much. So what I was trying to say is that we take the waste that is collected from the various vaccination centers to a treatment plant that is installed at various points across the country. These treatment plants have ultramodern technologies for waste treatment, which involves autoclaves and the use of shredders. These autoclaves and shredders, they sterilize the waste and make it harmless before disposal. Now, this technology helps to reduce pollution that was being emitted by the conventional ways of treating waste, that is the use of incinerators. Some of the old government facilities, they have incinerators that they use for treating their waste. But these incinerators, research has indicated that these incinerators releases furans and dioxins, which are carcinogenic, into the atmosphere. This can cause health-related risks, such as lung cancer, to the persons that may be exposed to such pollutants. So with the use of the ultra-modern technologies that Zoom Lion has brought on board, it implies that this risk of releasing these carcinogens into the atmosphere has been totally eliminated. So this is what we are. So not looking at just vaccination waste, but we are also looking forward to all medical waste that is generated from across the country. And this is our aim or focus with this kind of intervention report.
So let's look at the scope. What's the scope of this whole exercise? Is it limited to vaccine waste or medical waste in general?
Okay, so with this particular exercise, our scope is limited to the vaccination waste currently. So what we do is that, one, we provide bins, color-coded bins and liners, to all vaccination centers. So these color-coded bins and liners will help with the waste segregation at those centers. Now, when the waste is generated and stored, we come around with a specialized truck, which is solely meant for the collection of medical waste. So this truck moves from one vaccination center to the other to pick up all the generated vaccination waste within the period. The truck then sends the waste to the treatment site, where it is subjected to the various sterilization procedures before final disposal. So this is the scope within which we are operating for the vaccination.
I'm grateful for your time. Engineer Tenge is with Zumpa Ghana. They deal with medical waste disposal at our various hospitals. We'll take a break on the pulse. When we return, there is more. Just stay with me.
Hello, I'm Dori Nando. You can catch up with all the fun on the Cosmopolitan Mix and on all our shows via podcast. Just go to My Joy Online podcast and search for your favorite show and relive those moments all over again. Only on Joy 99.7 FM, radio for discerning listeners.
Super Hits Radio, Joy 99.7.
Welcome back to The Pulse. Tweet at us at The Pulse and also join us via all our social media handles. Let's have a conversation, because philanthropy, they say, is for the good public good. Its role in community and national development remains very significant. This is why at the Multimedia Group Limited, we are leading the charge with our classroom project to promote the provision of education infrastructure in 2 communities. It is also an opportunity for you to be part of a good social cause and to promote social justice as well. Today on our campaign, we hear from a pupil and the head teacher of the Zonele EA Primary School in Tolon in the Northern Region, appealing for your support to be able to complete their school block to enable them carry out academic work in a conducive environment.
My name is Muniru Baba. This is my school. We don't observe social distances because we are more than our classrooms.
We need help to complete this project, because I don't think the PTA will be able to complete it. So if any assistance comes in and help us complete this project, we'll be much grateful. And even the teachers, we don't have office or staff common room. This 3 is our staff common room, and at the same time at P1. So if we get help to complete this classroom and then the teacher's office or staff common room, will be much grateful.
The classroom project seeks to help 2 communities construct 3-unit classroom blocks, each one in the central and the other in the northern region, as you saw in that clip. For all your support and assistance, Momo transactions should go to 059-303-8832 Joy FM, or to the Access Bank account number 0090-1010-54191. is at the Castle Road branch. The branch code is 009 and the Swift code is ABNGGHAC. You may also reach us at our front desk for further inquiries on the number 030-221-6540, 030-221-6540, and you can also see the numbers on our screens. Let's take a break right now and give way for sports. Nathaniel Arthur, the man who loves sports, will be coming shortly.
Hello, my name is Nathaniel Arthur. You can catch up with all the fun and inspiration on the Joy Sports link here on Joy 99.7 FM, together with all other shows over and over again. It's very simple. All you need to do is go to myjoyonline.com/podcast and relive all of those fun moments over and over again. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Joy 99.7.
Well, thanks for staying with us here on Pulse. And it's time to discuss some sport as the Black Stars are playing the Bafana Bafana of South Africa. They're away in South Africa. The game started and just about some 27 minutes into action. No goals scored yet. And here with me is Joy Sports' Baba Tando to look at the probables with this particular encounter. Remember, this is match day 2 of the group stage of the qualification series for the next FIFA World Cup in Qatar in 2022. Baba, good to have you here in the studio.
Thanks,
now, for the first few minutes that you observed of the game, what do you make, especially considering that there was a lot of criticism about the way the Black Stars played in the last game against Ethiopia and Cape Coast?
I mean, of course, we know that against Ethiopia last Friday, it was just a narrow win. They didn't really do much to actually deserve that win. But hey, what counts in football is the goal. So they got that goal and got the 3 points, which puts them ahead on top of that group. So literally, I think it's Ghana who have 3 points, and then South Africa, Zimbabwe, they both have 1 point each, and then 1 point each, and then Ethiopia do have no points at all. But I mean, it's not been too different from what we saw last Friday in Cape Coast. After 27 minutes, I haven't really seen anything major, any threats that they've posed to the South African side. Let's not forget the fact that these South Africans have actually kept 7 clean sheets, and of course the last game against Zimbabwe, they actually wanted to win so bad they couldn't win, and that ended goalless. And I mean, it's not been what we want them to be doing. And like you mentioned, their performances have been criticized so much in recent times. So.
Let's also take a look at the other side of the conversation, the mathematics. You just mentioned that you just gave us a fine look of what it's like on the screen. We're going to put it there right now, and Ghana's group. Ghana's topping the group currently. Well, this is the starting 11. So this is the starting 11 that Ghana has. Richard Ofori.
Probably missing is Jordan Ayew. Yes.
Of course, because of COVID-19 compliance regulations, especially if you consider what happened with the Brazil-Argentina game, you'd want to be very, very careful. Now, Abdul Fattah Mohamed, the captain of Accra Hearts of Oak, is in there and is partnering with Jonathan Mensah. At the back. Right, yeah. Okay, so there we go. Alexander Jiku is also there. Mubarak Wakaso, who scored the only goal of the last game, is there. Majid Ashmeru, Emmanuel Lomote, Joel Fameye, Andre Ayew, and Yao Yeboah.
Yeah, I mean, we can from this. Of course, we can blame it on COVID, but I think CK Akono, the Black Stars coach, is still struggling, because if you ask me to name his regular 11, it will be very difficult. I think he's still playing a bit of chess here and there. He's still playing games, shuffling things around to ensure. I think he wants to try as much as possible to ensure that he's got the best. But I mean, how many more tries does he want? How many more games does he have? And due to COVID protocols, there isn't that luxury of playing as many games as possible. Trial games, friendly matches to keep your team in shape. And so he's still playing chess with it. And like I mentioned to you, Ghana are playing. This is their second game. They got all 3 points from the first game, and if they draw, they will have 4 points. But if they win, that puts them, very much ahead of all the other teams in the group. That will give them 6 points. And South Africa will have 1, Zimbabwe will have 1, and Ethiopia, I mean, depending on the outcome of the game against Zimbabwe, we know how that's going to go. But this is how currently Group H looks like, with Ghana with so much advantage, 4 points.
what would you want to see, the Black Stars do in this particular game? There are different ways of approaching an important game like this. There are those who would want to go in and get the goals because it could become critical.
Now, let me ask you, who are
point.
the goal scorers for the Black Stars right now?
Well, it's difficult to tell.
They are averaging less than a goal. They are averaging less than a goal per game. So, look, their goals are simply not coming. CK Akono, I don't know what Midas touch he's got to have or what kind of magic wand he's got to wave. But who is scoring the goals for the Black Stars? Our
midfielders are scoring.
Yeah, Wakaso blasted that one in against Ethiopia last Friday. But it was a howler from the goalkeeper. Tell me if I'm lying. It was a howler from the goalkeeper.
Definitely was.
It was just a mistake, and then Black was on our side, and then we happened to get that goal, and then that was it. The Ethiopians were not, clinical up front to get a goal or to equalize or to win the game. But look, we don't have goal scorers, and we are not scoring. If we have goal scorers, then they are not doing their job. Clearly, there's something wrong in the team. Either their arsenals are not sharpened enough, or we need to have a conversation.
Finally, what would you expect the Black Stars to do playing away from their home terrain against the South African side who have been denied World Cup appearance by the Black Stars before?
Yeah. Do you know what? If really the Black Stars are serious about going to Qatar, this is not it. This is not the way to Qatar. In Qatar, you're not going to be playing teams like South Africa, Zimbabwe, Ethiopia, and whoever we're going to play when we progress. This is not a World Cup performing team. Like I'm saying, how many more tries do you want? This is COVID era. You can't get friendly matches to put your team in shape. The players are only getting sharpened in their club side. So, look, they've got to lift up their game. They need to find their goal-scoring prowess. They need to score. They need to play well. Sometimes you say playing well is not enough. You need the goals here, but you've got to play good and you've got to find the goals. Because if you go to Qatar, you're coming back home after what? Your first 3 games, and that's not what we want. We've made a mark for ourselves. We went into Germany and we made a mark for ourselves. We went to subsequent World Cups. We did very well. So this is definitely not it. CK Akono has got a lot of work to do.
Baba, thank you very much. And we sure are going to be doing some more analysis after this game. Just getting into its 30th to 31st minute. No goal scored yet between Ghana and South Africa. So after the game, we sure are going to bring you all of the updates and the big highlights on Prime when we bring you the major sports bulletin on the evening news on Joy News Prime. That's it for sport here on Pulse. Keep it here. My name is Nathaniel Atto, and I have love for sport.
What's up, guys? My name is Sammy Forson, host of the Weekend City Show and Ignition right here on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, anytime you happen to be busy and you miss out on your favorite shows right here on Joy FM, here's what you can do. Log on to myjoyonline.com/podcast. Just go on there and you'll find all your shows on demand 24/7. There you can catch up. Remember, Joy FM remains your radio for discerning listeners.
Joy 99.7.
And that's how we wrap up the Pulse this afternoon. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. I have indeed enjoyed my almost 2-hour stay with you. Up next is Let's Talk Showbiz. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.
Hi, this is Lexus Bill, host of Drive Time on Joy 99.7 FM. Listen, you don't have to worry if you miss Drive Time or Personality Profile. It's going to be live on our podcast page. Just log on to www.myjoyonline.com/podcast. You can listen to Drive Time, Personality Profile, and any other of your favorite shows on Joy FM on that page. You don't have to miss a show at all. Joy 99.7 FM, radio for discerning listeners.
Oh no. Hey! What is that?
I've had this stuff waiting for the right opportunity to use it.
Look, is that what I think it is?
Exactly.
Are you planning to kill?
Long ago.
Look, what has come over you?
Papa.
Drinking my destiny.
husband, please, morning. I think we have time.
Hey! Bella! What? What's in my house? What's in my house? You can check your side. Where, Oliver? Stand there. What's in my house? You can check your side. Where is you going with my wife? Come on! No, you are not having that. Where? Oh. If you don't give me my one, it gets about hot brush. And I will take out your boss. Not one talk. I will squeeze all your fermented juice out.
Oh, but just give it to her and let's end this.
Hey, give it to me. I will help you. No, I will not give it to you. Hey, my father, my children, what a family.
What have you done? All the things I thought you could do dying for Aku is quite strange.
Hey. I am dying, but don't get me angry. I will never die for Aku. I did it for my grandchild.
But you shouldn't have done the poison.
I had to do a joke. At least I will die knowing I saved the soul.
Papa, I can't live with this guilt.
No, I don't have enough time. Papa. Go and prepare my favorite meal, jollof. Let me eat and then bless you, my son. Hurry up. No, wait. There's no time. Look, stop crying. Listen to me. Look, listen to me. My son, look at me. Moisha has repented. Go and take her things before she goes back. I beg you. And go to Prophet Kobe, my spiritual father. That man promised me that I will never die.
Alexa, play me Billie Jean.
Playing Billie Jean by Michael Jackson. Oh, wow.
Alexa, stop.
Oh, wow. That's so impressive, you know.
No.
I mean, like father.
Like son.
Yeah.
Come to think of it, how do you know my dad is a good dancer too?
You guys have similar traits, you remember?
Oh, smart lady.
Yeah.
Is he? Would you dance with me?
Oh, okay. And what are we celebrating?
For the biggest contract ever.
And how much are we talking about here?
How does $20 million sound? Alexa, play me Lady in Red.
Playing Lady in Red by Christopher. Michi.
Yes, mademoiselle, mon amour.
A favor from you.
Oh, anything you want.
Well, before then, I got something for you.
Oh, yes. I always like it when you get something for me.
Okay. Just hold on.
What is that?
It's pizza, of course.
There was one time I had a kiss. Don't worry, I'm gonna kiss for you, huh?
Oh, are you just going like that?
Whoa, come on, give me some sugar. You kill me one day, but I will never die.
So this useless man too has strength to do chuku.
The word to say was ecstatic. It was amazing. It was wonderful. It was fun. Yes. Aside that, we came to learn. And so we are grateful that we learned and we enjoyed ourselves. Wow. Yes.
Do you have any favorite character in there?
Oh, I really love the guy who
Jack.
Jack. He's so amazing. He's so amazing. Yeah.
And this is why I ask you, of course, for what you have learned. You think you have a whole team here, and I believe that you've probably taken something.
Oh yes, the Kingdom Exim family is really excited to be here. And we are grateful to our management for being here, that they sponsored us to come and learn and then impact it in our corporate institutions. So we are grateful to our management, yes.
Please, may I know your name?
My name is Iftin.
Iftin.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, so I have two beautiful women here, and this is why I ask you again, how did you feel about the play?
It was fantastic. In fact, I don't think it's anything short of fantastic, really. I really enjoyed myself. The cast, everything was on point. I think it's something that everybody must watch. I think it's showing tomorrow again, and so people must come and see for themselves. It's really awesome. In fact, it's amazing, trust me. I had so much fun. I haven't had such fun in a very long time, yeah.
Do you have any favorite character in there?
Yeah, I think Jack, the last guy. He was so funny, but hey, we had a lot of women with demons on the stage. But it was really funny. Everything was good. I was curious to know what can kill a man. So it's a woman, eh? It's a woman. Latif is telling us that we are. Hey. But yeah, it was good. Those who haven't watched the show, come tomorrow. I think tomorrow is the last day. Yeah, 7 p.m. Open air here, so you can't eat. 7 bed, you can't eat. Oh.
Wow, all the best, and thank you so much for watching.
Ouch, my leg. Relax. Oh yeah, I like that, Duke.
I don't know what is happening over there. Duke, I don't like what is happening.
Sorry, I'm sorry. For a very long time, I felt peaceful.
And I felt confusion.
Izzy, would you like to get a guest room? You can move in anytime you want to.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. I think that is a very good idea. You staying here can be a lot of, you know.
No. I'll increase your salary by 100%. Oh, really? Yes. Oh, then I mean. Oh, that was great. Okay. Show me my room, please. Here? Yeah. Okay.
She showed him something small, and he fell for it. Well, every story has its own conflict, and every character has its own flaws. What is happening now gives me goosebumps, or perhaps chicken pox. He's not my worry though. But the day Aku will walk through that door, that will be the end of our story. Tell me what is going on between the two of you. I will break your neck and...
Why would you do that? Why would you do that? You can go to jail for this.
Why did you do that? Why did you do that? I brought her here for goodness sake. See what will happen to you.
Anybody way won't fight, they can come, they already know. I'll be right beside you, like the wall of Jericho. They don't know what's going on.
Come around, eh? Come around, my son. I want to appreciate you before everybody. Guys, help me thank your boss.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
The way God will bless you. You know. You are your son.
Thank you.
My son, I heard every beat of your prayer, worship, and fasting on my sickbed. I heard your constant communication with God in that moment. It was the word of Prophet Kofi which keep ringing in my mind. That your son shall be a man of God one day. Your son shall be a man of God one day. Your son shall be a man of God one day. My son, God bless you. Put your hand to work. Your name will be God.
Stop it! Thank you. Thank you, Lord. What the hell do you think you're doing? Papa, they have joined. Who have joined? They know themselves. They know themselves, Papa. I am an embodiment of beneficent God. And how dare you challenge me? And how dare you challenge me? He created me in his own image. How dare you challenge me? Amen. He created me in his own image. I know my son. You do shut up. You shut up. You have no authority over my father. Oh, amen. Yes, I have. So that is the reason you cast a strong spell on him. Yes. And what would you do about it? I will kick the devil out of you. And I will gladly kill you both. You cannot. What is your mission? I came to destroy. Talk. Oh, yes. Yes. Talk. Descendants has never failed in such a mission. This mission is abolished. You lie. Fire. Fire.
So beautiful ladies, how did you find the play?
It was amazing. This is my first time coming to a place like this, and I really liked it. The movie was yes.
Do you have any favorite character in there?
Yes, I think I'll call him Ewu. The stammerer, yeah, he's my favorite character in there. Something might kill a man.
Did you think something killed a man?
Yes, definitely. Something killed a man, and it's us.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Well, I'm hoping to see you more often. But hey, this is Latif Abubakar play, and it's not just as he said. In December, I'm hoping that we'll see you guys again.
Yeah, sure, we will. Definitely will come.
Thank you.
You're welcome.